Prologue. I'm the co-founder and CTO of my company, the one who bled for years to make us the best in the industry. My partner, the CEO, is my best friend from college. So when his wife, a clueless influencer type who'd never worked a real job in her life, was brought on as our new head of people and culture, I figured it was just a title to keep her busy. I was wrong. It all blew up when she bragged on LinkedIn. Our engineering roles had an 8-to-1 male-to-female application ratio, but I fixed it. We hired a perfect 1:1. So proud to prioritize our sisters in tech. I took the post to my best friend. He just shrugged. The company's doing fine, isn't it? Don't be so sensitive. That was the moment I knew. The company was going to die. 1. It was midnight, and the only lights still on in the office tower were on our floor, the tech division. The air was a stale mix of burnt Keurig pods and lukewarm DoorDash, the sound a constant symphony of mechanical keyboards. We were in the final brutal stretch of Project Starlight, the biggest contract in our company's history. If we landed this, we'd own the top spot in the industry. My name is Ethan Cole. I'm the co-founder and chief technology officer. The other founder, Leo Vance, was my freshman year roommate. For 8 years, we've been the perfect pair. He was the face of the company, and I was the engine. We built this place from a garage startup into a pre-IPO powerhouse. I rubbed my raw, screen-strained eyes and headed to the break room for another coffee. As I passed the lounge area, I saw a few of my junior engineers huddled around a phone, their faces tight with anger. This is insane. What was she thinking? We're a software company, not a reality TV show. Who's going to want to work here after this? I paused. We never had a dedicated HR department before. Our office manager handled the paperwork. But 3 months ago, Leo's wife, Vivian, a self-proclaimed lifestyle influencer who'd never punched a clock, decided she was bored at home. Leo parachuted her in as the head of people and culture. I didn't fight it. It was a vanity title, I thought. Just don't mess anything up. You walked over. A young engineer named Kevin quickly tried to hide the phone. Hey, Ethan, what's going on? I asked. Kevin stammered, but Dave, a straight-shooting senior engineer, just handed me the phone. You should see this, boss. We're going viral for all the wrong reasons. I took the phone. It was a LinkedIn post from an account under the name Vivian Hayes. Her profile picture was a professionally shot photo of her smiling in a field of wildflowers. The headline of her post was practically screaming, shattering the glass ceiling. How I single-handedly achieved a 1-to-1 hiring ratio in our male-dominated tech department. In the post, she wrote in a triumphant, breathless tone, "It's no secret that software engineering is a boys' club, tech bros, am I right?" The applications for our latest roles were nearly 8:1 male to female. But not on my watch. As the new head of people and culture, I knew I had to fight for my sisters. I pushed back against the hiring managers, and after a tough battle, every single technical role was filled with a perfect 1:1 gender split. A few of the women we hired didn't have the exact experience on paper, but they have grit and are fast learners. P.S. The new artisanal snack bar will also be serving the ladies first. #girlboss, #womenintech, #equity. The post included a group photo of the new hires and a picture of a hiring spreadsheet, with names blurred out but a hand-drawn red circle around the words gender ratio, 1-to-1. The comment section was a dumpster fire of praise from her influencer friends and outrage from actual tech professionals. OMG, you're a rock star. Are you hiring? I want to work for a queen like you. This is the kind of leadership we need. Time to put the mansplainers in their place. Feeling sorry for the qualified men who got passed over. They have thousands of other companies to choose from. We women only have champions like you. My hand tightened around the phone, my knuckles turning white. Dave leaned in, his voice low. Ethan, we submitted recs for 5 senior developers and 3 core architects for this hiring round. Of the 8 people she gave us, only one of them can actually do the job. The others can't even navigate a basic framework. 2 of them listed skills on their resume they clearly Googled 5 minutes before the interview. My team leads are losing their minds, trying to babysit them. A heavy weight settled in my chest. Project Starlight was already short-staffed. I've been pushing for more hires for weeks, and Vivian kept telling me to be patient, that she was finding the right cultural fits. So this is what she was doing. This wasn't hiring. This was a social experiment. And she was using our company, our life's work, as her personal petri dish. This wasn't just mismanagement. This was sabotage. I handed the phone back to Dave, my face a mask. Without a word, I turned and walked toward Leo's office. Leo's light was on, but he wasn't there. Probably out schmoozing a client. I stood in the center of his office, staring at the framed photo on the wall. The two of us on graduation day, grinning like idiots in our caps and gowns. We made a pact then. We were going to build something legendary together. And for 8 years, we had. Now, an amateur, a woman armed with hashtags and feel-good buzzwords, was rotting that legend from the inside out with her absurd, toxic philosophy. I took out my phone, screenshotted Vivian's post, and sent it to Leo via iMessage. Then I sat in his chair and waited. He came back half an hour later, a wide smile on his face. "Ethan, still here. Just closed the Henderson deal. Drinks are on me." He acted like he hadn't even seen my text. "Did you check your phone?" My voice was flat, devoid of emotion. He finally pulled out his phone and swiped it open. As he read, his smile slowly dissolved. He looked up at me, his eyes darting away for a second. "It's just a post, man. People online are always dramatic." He slipped the phone back into his pocket and walked around his desk to pour himself a glass of whiskey, his movements a little too casual. "Vivian means well. She's just trying to diversify the team. It's good for the company culture." Diversify the team. I repeated the words, the absurdity of it catching in my throat. "You call sacrificing mission-critical talent for the sake of a perfectly symmetrical gender ratio diversifying?" I stood up and walked right in front of him. "Leo, we are a tech company. Our code is our lifeblood. One brilliant engineer is worth 10 mediocre ones. To hit some arbitrary, performative 1:1 target, you've slammed the door on qualified people and brought in a team of novices who need their hands held. Do you have any idea how tight the deadline is for Starlight? Do you know that Dave and the other team leads are working 18-hour days, writing their own code at night, and then try to teach basic programming during the day?" My words hit a nerve. Leo's casual demeanor cracked, and his frustration flared. He slammed the glass down on his desk. "So the new hires need some extra training. So what? Every company has a learning curve. Why are you blowing this so out of proportion?" He scowled at me. "Look, the company's doing fine, isn't it? The numbers are up. The project is moving forward. Everything is on track. Don't be so sensitive, Ethan. Don't be so sensitive." Those 4 words felt like a shard of ice in my chest. I stared at him, my college roommate, my business partner, my brother for the last 12 years. There was no apology in his eyes, no flicker of understanding, just annoyance. Annoyance that I was disrupting his peace. He knew I was right. He just didn't want to deal with it, because the person who created the problem was his wife. He was choosing his quiet life at home over the health of our company, over the loyalty of our team. In that instant, the warm glow of his office felt cold and sterile. I finally understood. A wall had gone up between us. On the other side of that wall was his perfect little world with his wife. And I, along with the company we had built together, was on the outside. "Okay," I said. Just one word. I didn't argue anymore. It was pointless. You can't wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. I turned and walked out of his office. Back in the tech area, my team was still grinding away. I clapped my hands, getting everyone's attention. "All right, listen up. You've all worked hard enough. Go home, get some sleep. Starting tomorrow, we're changing our strategy for Project Starlight." They all stopped and stared at me, confused. I forced a smile, but inside, I felt nothing but a chilling resolve. The second Leo told me not to be so sensitive, I knew. This company was finished, and I wouldn't stand by and watch it sink. Not with the team that had put their trust in me. The next morning, I didn't go to the tech floor. Instead, I had my assistant bring me everything. The last year of financial reports, every major client contract, and, most importantly, the personnel files and performance reviews for every core member of our technical staff. Every line of code, every contract had my fingerprints on it. I had personally interviewed and trained every key engineer. I knew this company better than Leo did. Leo was the showman, the one whining and dining clients. I was the one in the trenches at 3 a.m., hunting down a single bug on a server. He was the face. I was the foundation. Now, the face was choosing to let the foundation crumble for a woman. I spent the entire morning in my office, dispassionately analyzing the state of our company. Assets, liabilities, cash flow, patents, client relationships. I mapped it all out on a whiteboard, dissecting the entity I'd spent 8 years building. Around noon, Leo came in, a tentative smile on his face. Hey, still mad about yesterday. He placed a takeout bag on my desk. Got you those brisket tacos from that place down on Lamar. I didn't even look at the bag. You told her to be more careful about what she posts online? I asked, looking up at him. That's your solution? Gag her, don't fix the disastrous policy? Leo's smile froze. What do you want me to do, Ethan? The hires are already here. I can't just fire them all. That would humiliate Vivian. So, to protect her feelings, we sacrificed the project timeline and tank team morale. Ethan, Leo's voice rose. Can you stop being so damn aggressive? It's a few junior hires. We're a big company now. We can afford to carry them for a bit. You train them, they'll get up to speed. I train them. I let out a humorless laugh. The team leads I have are some of the best engineers in Austin, making high six figures. You want them to drop their work on our most critical project to babysit a bunch of unqualified hires who got the job for PR reasons? That's an insult to them, and it's an insult to me. They're not unqualified hires. Don't talk like that. Leo's face was turning red. They earned their spots. They earned them. I pulled open my drawer and threw a stack of printed resumes on the desk in front of him. Look at this. This one has a degree in communications, and her resume says she has a deep passion for coding. This one's a marketing major whose special skill is familiarity with all major social media platforms. And this one, for God's sake, has a degree in 18th century British literature. Tell me, Leo, what do they earn this on? The fact that they're women. The resumes silenced him. His face went pale. He stood there for a long time before picking up the bag of tacos and placing it firmly on my desk. His voice was low and tight with anger. Ethan, we're brothers. Vivian is my wife. She's family. Are you really going to tear us apart over this? I don't want to, I said, leaning back in my chair. But you're the one forcing this. You're the one mixing family with business. The business is fine. You're the one creating problems where there aren't any. He finally exploded, pointing a finger at me. You think because the company's gotten bigger, I'm in your way, is that it? You've had it out for Vivian since she started, haven't you? It was a low blow. I looked at his face, twisted with an anger born of denial, and I suddenly felt exhausted. There was no point in arguing. He wasn't ignorant. He was willfully blind. He was twisting my professional concern into a personal attack on his authority and his wife. You're right. I'm making it all up, I said calmly. I nodded. Leo, let's talk about the future of the company. My sudden calm seemed to unnerve him. What future? I'm planning a complete, ground-up refactor of the core code for Project Starlight, I said. It requires absolute secrecy and focus. I need to take a small core team and go off-site for a while. Leo stared at me, suspicious. A refactor? Now, we're almost at the delivery date. That's exactly why we have to do it now, I lied without blinking. I found a fundamental security flaw in the architecture. If it goes live, it could be catastrophic. The fewer people who know about this, the better. I don't want to cause a panic. When it came to tech, Leo always trusted me. He didn't understand the details, but he understood the threat. Is it serious? If we don't fix it, we could be looking at massive client lawsuits. It could bankrupt the company, I said, laying it on thick. Leo's face changed. He cared about two things above all, the company's reputation and its money. Okay, I get it. His tone was all business now. Whatever you need, you've got it. People, budget, a location, it's all approved. I need to take Dave, Kevin, and 3 other senior architects. And we need a place where we won't be disturbed. At all. Done, Leo said instantly. Use the suburban dev center. No one ever goes out there. I'll tell the office manager to prioritize any request you have. One more thing, I said, looking him dead in the eye. While we're in lockdown, I don't want anyone, especially not anyone from People and Culture, contacting us for any reason. Leo's eyes flickered, but he nodded. Okay, I'll talk to Vivian. Don't talk to her. Tell her, I said, my gaze unwavering. As the CEO, he was quiet for a moment, then gave a heavy nod. I will. He turned and left, leaving the now cold brisket tacos on my desk. As I watched him walk away, I felt no sense of victory, only a vast, empty bitterness. This was it, Leo. This was the last chance I was giving you, and our company. If you can't even protect this last firewall, then there's nothing left for us but to go down with the ship. That afternoon, I moved with Dave and the other 4 core engineers to the Suburban Development Center. It was less of an R&D lab and more of a glorified storage unit for old servers and outdated hardware. Besides a security guard who made nightly rounds, the place was a ghost town. We cleaned out a large conference room, dragged in some cots and supplies, and prepared for a long haul. As he was setting up a network switch, Dave asked, "Boss, are we really refactoring the whole system from here? The Starlight architecture is solid. A rewrite this late in the game is incredibly risky." I closed the door and looked at the faces of the men who had been with me for years. They were my guys, the true pillars of this company. "No," I said, "we're not refactoring Starlight." They all stopped what they were doing and looked at me. "Then what are we doing here?" Kevin asked. I took a deep breath and laid out my plan. "We're building something new, a replacement for Starlight, an evolution, something that belongs only to us. We're building Polaris." The room was utterly silent. You could hear a pin drop. They all stared, stunned. Dave was the first to speak, his voice a shocked whisper. "Ethan, are you saying you're leaving?" "I'm saying we're building ourselves a lifeboat." I corrected him. I told them everything. The fight with Leo, his refusal to see reason, the whole story. "The company is rotting from the inside," I explained. "Leo is completely blinded by his wife and won't listen to anyone. Even if we deliver Project Starlight on time, with the kind of people Vivian is hiring, we won't be able to support or upgrade it. Our clients aren't stupid. Our reputation will be shot within 6 months. I can't watch everything we've built turn to ash, and I refuse to let a team of amateurs drag you all down with it." I looked at each of them, my voice filled with sincerity. "I'm not forcing anyone to choose sides. I'm just telling you my plan. I'm going to spend the next 2 months here building a new, more powerful, more stable system from scratch. This system will be our future. 2 months from now, if things at the company have somehow improved, we can integrate this new core into Starlight as a surprise upgrade, a gift to the company. But if," I paused, "if things get worse, if we reach the point of no return, then this new core will be the foundation of our own company. And I give you my word, no matter what happens, if you stick with me, I will take care of you. Your current salaries, your stock options, at the new company, you'll get more. Not less. More." Silence again. It was a huge ask. They were senior employees with comfortable salaries and valuable options. I was asking them to gamble their entire careers on a risky, uncertain future. After a long moment, Dave broke the silence. He looked me in the eye, his expression firm. "I'm with you, Ethan." A slow grin spread across his face. "Honestly, I've had enough. I'm almost 40 years old, and I'm getting lectured by some 20-something who told me my code needed to be more empathetic. I was about to quit anyway. The only reason I stayed was for you." Kevin nodded vigorously. "Yeah. The new girl on my team doesn't even know how to use Git. She pesters me all day with basic questions and calls it fostering collaborative relationships. I have no relationship with her. We're in, Ethan. We're with you. Worst case, we start over. With you leading and us coding, we can make it anywhere." One by one, they all committed, their voices filled with a mix of frustration and excitement. The resentment that had been simmering for months finally boiled over. I felt a warmth spread through my chest. All this time, I thought I was fighting for the company, for the dream. Now, and I shared. I realized in that moment that I was wrong. I was fighting for them. For these guys who trusted me enough to put their futures in my hands. "All right," I said with a hard, decisive nod. "From this day on, this is our command center. To the outside world, we're in lockdown, refactoring code. But in here, we're building our own damn Noah's Ark." That night, the lights at the Suburban Dev Center burned until dawn. We didn't talk about the company's problems anymore. Everyone threw themselves into the new project. The whiteboard was soon covered in new architectural diagrams and process flows, and for the first time in months, everyone's face was lit up with the pure, unadulterated passion of creation. It was the joy of building something great. And while I was writing code alongside them, I had another job. I started making calls to VC contacts I'd known for years. I needed money. I needed resources. I needed to build a new, faster, stronger ship before Leo and Vivian steered our old one straight into an iceberg. We were almost completely cut off for the next month. We coded all day and slept on cots in the conference room at night. We lived on Uber Eats and bad coffee. Our only entertainment was gathering around midnight, drinking cheap beer, and brainstorming names for our future company. Leo called a few times to check on our progress. I kept feeding him the same line, still working through some complex architectural challenges. He seemed content to be left alone, without me in his ear complaining. He and Vivian were free to enjoy their idyllic life. I got occasional updates from friends still at the company. Vivian's cultural revolution was in full swing. First, she implemented a ladies' priority afternoon tea, where female employees could access the daily catered snacks 30 minutes before the men and had first choice of everything. Next, she launched a corporate image enhancement initiative, which was a thinly veiled popularity contest where employees were encouraged to anonymously rate their colleagues' professional appearance on the company intranet. She had turned the workplace into a toxic swamp. The tech department was in disarray, and the sales team was in open revolt. Good employees, both men and women who found her games insulting, started quietly resigning. Meanwhile, the unqualified, new hires Vivian had brought in formed a loyal clique around her. Their primary job wasn't coding or closing deals, but hyping Vivian's visionary leadership on social media, painting the company as a feminist utopia. Leo saw none of it, or chose not to. At an all-hands meeting, he publicly praised Vivian for injecting new vitality and a progressive management philosophy into the company. When I heard this, I felt nothing. You can't mourn something that's already dead. I no longer had any hope for Leo or for the company. So I moved faster. The core architecture of our new system was complete. It was already running 30% more efficiently than Starlight. At the same time, I secured a handshake agreement with a top-tier venture capital firm. The managing partner was an old friend. He believed in me and my team. He promised that the second I walked out with my team and the new project, a first-round seed fund of $5 million would be in my account within a week. Everything was in place. I just needed one final push. And Vivian, as it turned out, was happy to provide it. Project Starlight's biggest client was a multinational conglomerate called Genesis Solutions. Now, and I had landed that contract after months of relentless work, countless dinners, all-nighters, and cross-country flights. The deal was worth 9 figures, the largest in our company's history. According to the contract, the first phase of the Starlight system was due for delivery next month. One afternoon, as Dave and I were running stress tests on the new system, I got a call from a number I didn't expect. It was Mark, the project lead from Genesis Solutions. "Ethan, sorry to bother you." Mark's voice was polite but cool. "We may need to reassess our partnership on the Starlight project." My stomach dropped. "Mark, what's wrong?" "Well," he paused, choosing his words carefully, "we've recently received some troubling information about your company's internal management. Furthermore, our own engineers who have been liaising with your team have reported some significant issues. They've told me your new technical support staff are alarmingly unprofessional and lack basic knowledge. The communication has been atrocious. To top it off, one of our male engineers was told to give up his seat in your cafeteria to a female employee who arrived later, with the excuse of ladies first." Mark's voice turned to ice. "Ethan, Genesis partners with companies based on 2 things: professional competence and professional integrity. Frankly, your current corporate culture has us deeply concerned. We are not about to let our 9-figure investment be jeopardized by some bizarre brand of office politics." My hand was slick with sweat as I gripped the phone. I knew this was coming. The disaster Vivian had created was no longer contained. It was now poisoning our most important client relationship. "Mark, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain, Ethan," he cut me off. "We've already initiated our contingency plan. Our legal and technical teams will be on-site at your office next week to conduct a full risk assessment. If the results are unsatisfactory, we will be terminating the contract and exploring all legal avenues for breach of contract." He hung up. The conference room was deathly quiet. Everyone was looking at me, their faces pale. Terminating the contract and suing for damages. It would mean not only losing a massive amount of revenue, but also facing a catastrophic lawsuit. It was the final nail in the coffin. The company was well and truly finished. I stood up and began to pace. Rage, regret, and a strange sense of relief washed over me. Leo and Vivian. They had driven the company right to the edge of cliff. Fine. I will be the one to give it the final push. I picked up my phone and called Leo. Genesis is terminating the contract, I said the moment he answered. His voice on the other end was a cocktail of shock and panic. What? How could that happen? Ethan, you were supposed to be managing this project. Even now, his first instinct was to blame me. I laughed a cold, empty sound. I was managing the project, Leo. I wasn't managing your wife. Ethan, what the hell is that supposed to mean? It means I'm giving you one last chance. My voice was glacial. Right now, fire Vivian. Get in front of the entire company. Admit her policies were a disaster, and apologize to every employee she has alienated. Then you and I will fly to Genesis headquarters and beg for forgiveness. It's the only shot we have. There was a long silence on the other end. I could hear his heavy breathing. In the background, Vivian's faint, whining voice. Honey, he's yelling at me. He's taking their side against me. A few seconds later, Leo's voice came back, laced with a new, bitter resolve. You know what, Ethan? I've had enough. Vivian is my wife. I'm not firing her. Everything she did for the good of this company. Maybe her methods were a little unconventional, but can't you guys just be a little more tolerant? I will handle Genesis. I don't need you to tell me how to run my own company. And as for your little secret project, I think it's over. I want you and your team back in the office tomorrow morning. We need all hands on deck. He slammed the phone down. I lowered my phone, looked out the window at the gray, overcast sky, and let out a long, slow breath. It was over. My partnership with him, my time at this company. It was all over. I turned back to my 5 guys. Pack your things, I said. Our new company opens for business today. We didn't go back to the office the next day. I sent Leo my resignation via email. Attached was a stock transfer agreement drafted by my lawyer. I was transferring my entire 40% stake in the company to him for the symbolic price of $1. I didn't want a cent. The company was rotten to the core. Its assets would soon be devoured by lawsuits and an employee exodus, leaving nothing but debt. I wasn't being noble. I was cutting my losses and avoiding the fallout. After that was done, I sent a text message to Dave's team and a few other key people in sales and tech I'd already spoken to who had recently quit. New office, North Austin Tech Center, Building A, 18th floor. Welcome home. Simultaneously, I had my VC friend leak the news to the industry press. Ethan Cole, CTO and technical genius behind Nexus Dynamics, has left the company with his entire core engineering team to start a new venture. I wanted everyone to know that Nexus Dynamics was now just an empty shell. When Leo received my resignation, I heard he flew into a rage, screaming about how I was a traitor, abandoning him in a crisis. He probably thought I was bluffing, trying to threaten him. He had no idea that a much bigger storm was about to hit. At 10 a.m., the resignation letters from Dave, Kevin, and the other 3 senior engineers landed on Vivian's desk. They were followed by resignations from the top 3 salespeople, 2 marketing leads, and even Leo's trusted director of operations. In the span of 1 hour, more than half of the company's essential personnel had quit. Leo's phone began to ring off the hook. He called me frantically. I ignored every call. He called Dave and the others. All he got was the same, simple reply. With Ethan now, I could picture his expression changing from rage to shock, and finally, to pure terror. That afternoon, the legal and technical teams from Genesis Solutions arrived at the office as scheduled. They walked into a company in the middle of a complete meltdown. The tech department was a ghost town, staffed only by a few terrified junior employees and the incompetent team leads Vivian had promoted. When the Genesis team started asking sharp, technical questions, they were met with blank stares and stammering non-answers. It was a complete humiliation. Vivian was still trying to smooth things over with her corporate jargon about synergy and a positive, people-first culture. She was cut short when the head of Genesis's legal team told her, "Ma'am, we're here to discuss a contract, not to make friends." Vivian's face went white. That night, I treated my new team to pizza and beer in our new, empty office. The space was still a concrete shell with temporary folding tables and chairs, but everyone was buzzing with the thrill of a new beginning. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Industry darling Nexus Dynamics implodes. Core team departs amidst rumors of catastrophic contract loss. I put the phone in my pocket and raised my beer bottle. To us, I said. To the future, they all roared back. We drank. Outside the window, the lights of the city glittered. Our story, I knew, was just getting started. Epilogue we called our new company Aperture Technologies. A new opening. The second the seed money hit our account, we leased the best office space in the tech park and bought top-of-the-line equipment. I made sure every person who came with me was taken care of. Salaries were higher than before, and I created a 20% stock option pool for the entire founding team. I wanted them to have skin in the game. Moral sord. Everyone worked with a relentless drive, determined to make up for lost time. Project Polaris, the system we had secretly built in that suburban warehouse, became Aperture's flagship product. The first thing I did was fly to Genesis Solutions headquarters with a complete project plan for Polaris. I met with Mark. I didn't say a single negative word about my old company. I simply showed him what we had built, the architecture, the performance metrics, our roadmap for future upgrades. I brought Dave and Kevin with me. They gave a live demo, showcasing the system's core features. The seamless operation and split-second response times were things Starlight could only dream of. Mark was a tech guy. He got it. The more he saw, the more his excitement grew. After the demo, he cut right to the chase. Ethan, with this team and this system, how confident are you that you could deliver ahead of the original schedule? I held up 2 fingers. We'll deliver 2 months early, with performance and stability exceeding the contract requirements by at least 30%. Mark smiled. I like your style, Ethan. He stood up and offered his hand. The contract is yours. We'll sign with Aperture, and we'll increase the price by 20%. Consider it a signing bonus. Walking out of the Genesis building, the sun felt warm on my face. Dave was practically bouncing. Boss, did we just do it? We did, I said, clapping him on the shoulder. And this is just the beginning. Landing the Genesis contract was like being dealt a royal flush. Overnight, Aperture Technologies became the industry's hottest new player. I leveraged every contact I had. Clients who had been scared off by Vivian's antics at Nexus were now eager to work with us. The contracts poured in. We started hiring aggressively. This time, I personally oversaw the process. I had only one rule: hire for talent. Nothing else. Gender, age, background mattered. Soon, our office was filled with brilliant people. We had scruffy coding savants and meticulous female PhDs in data science. The atmosphere was focused, efficient, and deeply respectful. This was the company I'd always wanted to build. While Aperture was soaring, Nexus Dynamics was in a nosedive. Losing the Genesis contract forced them to return the advance payment and pay a hefty penalty for breach of contract. Their cash flow vanished overnight. Without the core technical team, they couldn't support their existing projects. Client complaints and cancellations piled up. Leo desperately sought new funding, but no VC would touch a company that had lost its soul. He started massive layoffs to stop the bleeding. But Vivian fought him on it. She argued that layoffs would hurt the company's loving and supportive image. She refused to let go of any of the sisters she had personally hired. I heard from old friends that their fights became legendary. I felt no satisfaction hearing this, only a profound sense of sadness. How had the sharp, decisive Leo, the first once new, become this broken, ineffectual man? About 3 months later, on a Saturday night, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Leo. His voice was thin and raspy. Ethan, can we meet? I hesitated for a moment. Okay. We met at the old, greasy barbecue joint near campus we used to go to as students. He looked 10 years older. There was gray in his hair, and the crisp button-down shirts he used to wear were replaced by a wrinkled, stained polo. He poured me a beer and chugged his own. The company, it's filing for bankruptcy, he said, staring at the table, his eyes bloodshot. I didn't say anything. I was wrong, Ethan. He gripped his glass so hard I thought it might shatter. I was wrong from the beginning. I never should have let her near the company. And I definitely shouldn't have defended her when you warned me. I thought I could have it all. The perfect career, the perfect wife. I tried to balance everything. In the end, I lost it all. Vivian, she's divorcing me, he said with a hollow laugh. She said she married me to be the wife of a successful CEO, not to be saddled with a bankrupt loser. She told me it was my fault, that if I had just listened to you and sold the company earlier, We could have walked away with millions. She said I ruined her life. The irony was crushing. The woman who had put him on a pedestal was the first one to kick him off it when he fell. After the company went under, not one of her sisters called me. In fact, they're all online calling me a washed-up hack who wasted their time. But Frank, the security guard I fired 2 years ago, he texted me last week to ask if I needed anything. Tears started rolling down his face. A man approaching 40, crying like a lost kid. I passed him a napkin. Ethan. He looked up, his eyes pleading. Can we ever go back? Back to how it was after graduation? When we had nothing, but we weren't afraid of anything. I looked at him for a long time, then slowly shook my head. We can't, Leo. My voice was quiet but firm. Some things, once they're broken, they stay broken. The light in his eyes faded. I didn't come here to gloat, I said. I came to say goodbye, to the partnership and to the past. I took a debit card from my wallet and slid it across the table. There's $50,000 on this. It's not a loan, and it's not an investment. It's a gift. From me to you. Use it to pay off your immediate debts, find a small town, and start over. He stared at the card, not moving. I can't take this, he whispered, pushing it back. I don't deserve it. It's not for you, I said. It's for me. It's for the chapter of my life that you were a part of. Take it, and we're even. I stood up, not looking at him again. Take care of yourself, Leo. I walked out of the restaurant and didn't look back. The night air was cold. I looked up at the moon and felt a strange emptiness. I had won, but I didn't feel happy. I had just lost a man who was once my brother. 1 year later, the press conference for Aperture Technology's series, a funding round, was held at the city's most luxurious hotel. As founder and CEO, I stood on the stage under the bright lights, in front of hundreds of reporters and investors, and announced we had closed a $30 million round at a $200 million valuation. The room erupted in applause. My eyes found my team in the front row. Dave, Kevin, and the others who had taken that leap of faith with me were all in sharp new suits, their faces beaming with pride. After the conference, I was swarmed by reporters. Mr. Cole, what's the secret to Aperture's incredible success in just 1 year? I smiled for the cameras. There's no secret, I said. Just a deep respect for common sense, for expertise, and for my team. That night, the company threw a huge party. Everyone was ecstatic, and the champagne was flowing. Feeling a bit overwhelmed, I stepped out onto the hotel terrace for some air. My phone rang. An unknown number from small-town area code I didn't recognize. I answered, saying nothing. There was a long silence on the other end, just the faint sound of a crowd and sizzling food, like a night market or a fair. Ethan, it was Leo's voice. He sounded drunk. I saw you on the news. You're killing it, man. Congratulations, brother. He went quiet again, as if he didn't know what else to say. Are you okay? I asked. Yeah, I'm good, he said, a genuine smile in his voice. I opened a little food truck. Barbecue. It's okay. I work my ass off every day, but I sleep well at night. That's good to hear. Ethan, he said suddenly. I'm sorry. It's in the past, I said. No, it's not, he insisted. That 50 grand. I never touched it. When I save up enough, I'm paying you back. You don't have to. I do, he said. It's the last piece of my pride I've got left. Another silence stretched between us. Finally, he mumbled, well, I won't keep you. You're a big shot now. Boozy man. Take care, Leo, I said. Yeah. He hung up. I put my phone away and looked out at the glittering city skyline, a sea of infinite lights. I remembered years ago, Leo and I were crammed onto the tiny balcony of our dorm room, looking up at that same starry sky. He had said, Ethan, one day we'll start a company and call it Starlight. We'll be the brightest damn star in the sky. Now, Starlight had faded, and I was navigating by Polaris. Life, I guess, is a series of arrivals and departures. Some people are only meant to walk with you for a part of the journey. When you reach the end of that road, you have to let them go. I turned and walked back into the roaring party. My team was waiting for me. Our journey was just beginning.